Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. The cold morning air wrapped around Claire like a rough blanket as she pulled her coat tighter. The Silverwood Range was almost empty, just a few early risers warming up their rifles. The sun peeked weakly over the trees, casting long shadows. Across the gravel, Claire's breath came out in small clouds. She gripped the borrowed rifle tightly, feeling the weight of it, heavier than she remembered, but steady in her hands. Today was different. Today, she wasn't just a simple woman trying to survive. Today, she was going to prove something. The past that clung to her. Just 6 months ago, Claire would never have imagined she'd be standing here again. After her husband left, everything in her life had shattered. She remembered the day clearly, the day she found the note taped to the fridge. It was so cold, so final. "I'm done, don't come after me. You're too small for the life I want." Those words echoed endlessly in her mind. Small, invisible, worthless. She had believed in him once, believed in their love, their future. But he never truly saw her. Just a shadow behind his dreams. Their friends, the ones she trusted, turned away like she was a ghost. No one called, no one checked if she was okay. Even her family stayed silent, unwilling to get involved in what they called a messy divorce. Her home was empty now, filled only with memories and echoes. She slept in her car most nights, the seats hard, the heater weak. The world outside moved on without her. The memory of Silverwood Range. Silverwood Range was where it all began, and where she had been humiliated most. A year ago, she had walked into that place with hope. It was supposed to be a fun charity, shooting competition, something she was good at before she had given it up for her husband's better life. She had stood there, heart pounding, rifle in hand, ready to show them what she could do. But just as she raised the rifle, a whisper came from behind. "Don't embarrass me in front of my friends," he had said softly. His voice was like ice. She tried to focus, but her hands shook. She missed the shot. The crowd snickered. His friends laughed loudest. Her cheeks burned with shame, but this morning things felt different. Claire's eyes scanned the range. She wasn't alone this time. She saw familiar faces from that day, men and women who had mocked her with every missed shot. Their laughter had cut deep, but today she had nothing left to lose. Her lips pressed into a thin line. She remembered the flyer taped on the old gun shop window, the one that had caught her eye the night she had slept in her car. Silverwood Charity Shootout, $50,000 prize. All welcome. The money could change everything, but more than that, it was a chance to rewrite her story. The preparation, over the past months, Claire had practiced in secret. Every night after her long shifts at the diner, she drove out to a forgotten shooting field, miles from town. Her only company was a retired sniper named Joe, a gruff man with kind eyes who believed in her when no one else did. "You've got the aim," he told her once, "but more than that, you've got fire. Don't let anyone snuff it out." Joe had given her a rifle, showed her how to hold steady, breathe slow, and listen to the silence before the shot. Claire's hands no longer trembled. Back to Silverwood Range. The range was buzzing now. More people had arrived, drawn by the prize, money, and the challenge. Claire took her place quietly, trying not to attract attention. She wasn't there to make friends. She was there to win. The men nearby snickered again, whispering, "Look who's back." The little wife who couldn't shoot. Claire's face remained calm. But inside, a storm raged. She lifted her rifle carefully, took a slow breath, and aimed at the bullseye. The shot rang out. Perfect. The silence after the shot. The crowd went silent. The men looked at each other, unsure if they had heard right. Claire's heart pounded so loudly she thought they would hear it too. But she didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She simply walked away, knowing the real game was just beginning, the encounter with Lana A's. She headed toward the coffee stand. Claire's eyes caught a familiar face. Lana. Once her best friend, now the woman who smiled at her. Wedding while secretly plotting behind her back. Lana's eyes widened, and for the first time Claire saw fear. Behind Lana, a group of well-dressed women whispered and glanced toward Claire. Claire's hand brushed her pocket, where a crumpled photo burned against her skin. A photo that could shatter everything Lana had built. The photo, it showed Lana with a child who wasn't her husband's. Claire had found it hidden in an old box while cleaning out her husband's study. The birth certificate was clear. The father listed was a man no one expected. This was the secret Lana had kept, and Claire was going to use it. Closing, Claire took a sip of coffee and looked across the range. The sun was climbing higher. Her past was behind her. Her future was waiting, and she had one shot left. Secrets buried beneath the surface. Claire's heart raced as she sipped her coffee. Her gaze fixed on Lana's pale face across the crowded Silverwood Range hall. The woman who had once called herself her best friend, the same woman smiling beside Claire's ex-husband in old photographs, now looked like a stranger. A stranger, hiding a dangerous secret. Claire's mind flashed back to the moment she had found the photo and the birth certificate. Hidden in a dusty, forgotten box in her ex-husband's study, beneath piles of old files, was the truth Lana had fought so hard to bury. Her fingers trembled as she held the fragile paper in the dim light of her small apartment. Lana's not the woman I thought she was, Claire whispered to herself. And this child, she's the key. The ties that bind before the charity shoot. Claire had spent sleepless nights piecing together fragments of a life she thought she understood. Lana wasn't just her ex-best friend. She was the woman who had betrayed her most deeply. While Claire had struggled to keep her family and marriage together, Lana had secretly been living a lie. One that involved Claire's husband, betrayal, and a child no one knew about. The birth certificate revealed the father's name, someone neither Claire nor Lana's husband recognized publicly. A man from Lana's past, whose identity was hidden beneath layers of deceit. Why had Lana kept this a secret? Why had she chosen to be with Claire's husband instead of facing the truth? Back to Silverwood Range, Claire finished her coffee and took a deep breath. She had a decision to make. Should she confront Lana here, in front of everyone, or wait for the right moment? Her eyes scanned the crowd, the familiar faces who had once ridiculed her, now watching her with a mix of shock and curiosity. They thought she was just a broken woman trying to reclaim lost pride. They had no idea the storm she carried inside. The next round, the competition was heating up. Claire's name was called again, with steady hands. She took her position. The target was smaller this time, further away. She adjusted her sights, remembering Joe's advice. Trust your instincts. Breathe slow. Let the shot find you. The gunshot cracked through the air. Another perfect hit. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Whispers of "she's serious. Can she really do this?" filled the room. Claire ignored them all. She was focused on the bigger game, a stranger's warning after the round. As Claire rested against the wooden bench, a voice startled her. "Careful, Claire." She turned to see a man in his late 40s, weathered and serious. "I'm Tom," he said. "I've been watching. You're good, but this place, it's not just about shooting." Claire's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" Tom glanced around, lowering his voice. "There are things going on beneath the surface here. Deals, secrets, and some people, they won't like you digging too deep." Claire's heart pounded harder. Thanks for the warning. But she knew she couldn't stop now. The past revealed. That night, Claire sat alone in her tiny apartment. The photo of Lana and the child spread before her. She replayed memories of laughter and friendship, of whispered promises and betrayal. How could Lana have lied for so long? Her mind raced through possibilities. Was the child hers? Was this why her marriage had fallen apart? The answers seemed just out of reach, a message from the past. The next morning, Claire's phone buzzed. An unknown number. A text. "Stop digging or you'll regret it." Chills ran down her spine. She knew this was more than a warning. It was a threat, determined to fight. Claire clenched her fists. She wasn't the same woman who had cried alone in her car. She was stronger now. She had nothing left to lose. The charity shoot was more than a competition. It was her chance to reclaim her life and expose the truth. A face from the crowd. As the final round approached, Claire spotted someone unexpected. Her son, a boy of 10, standing nervously by the entrance, clutching a worn-out baseball cap. He looked just like her. Her breath caught. How had he found her? The son's revelation and the shattering truth. Claire's heart pounded wildly as she spotted the boy standing near the entrance of Silverwood Range. He was small, with wide eyes filled with nervous hope. His dark hair was messy, his clothes worn, but clean. The way he clutched the baseball cap reminded her of the long nights she had spent hiding her tears, trying to stay strong for a child she hadn't seen in years. "Lucas," she whispered under her breath. Her son. The moment of reunion. Claire's hands trembled as she approached him, the crowd's noise fading into a distant hum. "Lucas," she called softly. He looked up, eyes brightening with recognition. "Mom," he said, voice barely a whisper. Their hug was tight, years of distance collapsing in an instant. Tears streamed down Claire's face. She had thought she lost him forever. The questions, as they sat in a quiet corner of the range, Lucas pulled out a folded letter. "It's from Dad," he said, voice shaky. Claire unfolded the paper, hands trembling. The letter was full of apologies, excuses, and threats. But most importantly, it revealed the truth about the betrayal that had destroyed their family. Her ex-husband had not only left her, but had been hiding the boy's existence from her. The truth about Lucas's father was not the man Claire had once loved. He was a stranger to her son, someone who had stepped into their lives only to cause pain and confusion. Lana had known. She had kept the secret for years. But why? The web of lies. Claire's mind raced as she pieced together the fragments of her shattered past. Lana's betrayal was deeper than she had imagined. She wasn't just the woman who had stolen Claire's husband. She was the one who had torn her family apart. The photo, the birth certificate, the lies, all pointed to a carefully constructed facade. The confrontation, determined to get answers, Claire found Lana standing near the refreshments table. The polished smile was gone, replaced by a look of cold calculation. "Why?" Claire demanded, voice steady despite the storm inside. Lana's eyes flickered with something unreadable. "You don't understand," she said quietly. "It wasn't supposed to happen this way." But Claire wasn't listening. She showed Lana the letter Lucas had given her. "You lied. You ruined everything." The past comes back. Memories flooded Claire's mind. Whispered conversations, secret meetings, the moment she realized her husband's betrayal. It had all been orchestrated by Lana. Claire's world shattered again. The final round approaches, with the charity shoot nearing its climax. Claire knew she had to focus. Her son's arrival had changed everything. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting for Lucas, for the truth, for justice, for the future. The unexpected ally Tom, the man who had warned her, earlier approached quietly. "I know what you're up against," he said, "but you're not alone." He handed her a small envelope. Inside were documents, proof of the lies, evidence of the betrayal. Claire felt a flicker of hope. The shot that changes everything as. Claire took her position for the final round. She felt a calm settle over her. Crowd was silent. All eyes were on her. She aimed carefully. The gunshot cracked. The target shattered. The room exploded with applause. The aftermath, Claire turned to see Lana's face. Pale, defeated, her ex-husband nowhere in sight. Lucas by her side, smiling with pride. Claire knew this was only the beginning. Cliffhanger ending. Part 3. But as she stepped off the range, her phone buzzed. A message appeared on the screen. "You've won the battle, but the war is far from over." Claire swallowed hard. Who was watching her, and what would happen next? The final shot. Truth, justice, and new beginnings. Claire's phone buzzed again, the ominous message burning on the screen. "You've won the battle, but the war is far from over." Her fingers tightened around the device. Who was sending these threats, and why? She looked up, her gaze sweeping the crowd at Silverwood Range, friends, foes, strangers, and wondered who else was watching her every move. Unveiling the truth, determined not to be intimidated, Claire gathered her son Lucas and Tom, the unexpected ally who had quietly stepped into her life. Together, they planned to expose the full truth behind the lies, betrayal, and the people who had tried to bury her. The documents Tom had given her showed a web of deceit that extended far beyond just Lana and her ex-husband. There were contracts, fake identities, and even illegal deals tied to the charity event itself. The confrontation at Silverwood. The next day, Claire requested the organizers to call an emergency meeting after the competition. With the crowd buzzing in anticipation, Claire stood at the front and revealed the evidence she had uncovered. Gasps echoed through the room as she laid out the facts, how her ex-husband and Lana had conspired, hiding their child and sabotaging Claire's life. The charity event was being used as a front for illegal gambling and influence. Justice begins. The authorities, already alerted by Tom, arrived soon after. Lana tried to protest, but the evidence was overwhelming. Her carefully crafted lies fell apart under the weight of truth. Claire watched as Lana and her ex-husband were escorted away, their faces etched with defeat. For the first time in years, Claire felt free. A new life with Lucas, with the past behind her. Claire focused on rebuilding her life with Lucas. They moved into a small but cozy house just outside town, away from the whispers and judgments. Lucas enrolled in school, and Claire found steady work at a local community center, teaching self-defense classes, a symbol of her strength and resilience. The gift of forgiveness. One afternoon, Joe, the retired sniper who had helped Claire train, visited. They sat together on the porch, sharing stories and quiet laughter. "Sometimes," Joe said, "the strongest shots are the ones we don't fire. Forgiveness can be the greatest victory." Claire looked at the horizon, feeling a deep peace. She had won more than a competition. She had won her life back. The final shot months later, Claire returned to Silverwood Range, not as a competitor, but as a mentor. She watched new faces arrive, eager to learn, ready to face their own battles. Claire raised her rifle, aimed at the target, this time not to prove anything to anyone but herself. The shot rang out, pure and steady. The target shattered, and Claire smiled. Her story was no longer about shame or betrayal. It was about courage, healing, and new beginnings. Closing Words life had tested Claire in ways she never expected. She had faced mockery, loss, and secrets that threatened to destroy her. But through it all, she had found strength in the darkest moments. She had fought for her truth and for her son. And now, standing tall, Claire was ready to embrace the future, one shot at a time.